Kelly Clarkson breaks down in tears over big-hearted woman who makes pizza for first responders in the COVID pandemic. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Kelly Clarkson broke down in tears over the generosity of a woman who is making free pizza for first responders during the pandemic. The singer, 38, became emotional as Miriam Weiskind revealed she started giving away pies in honor of her mom, who died after a battle with COVID. Kelly explained on her show that art director Miriam of the Zay Report began making pizzas for everyone in her New York City building when work dried up. Soon strangers were coming up to Miriam and asking if they could donate the pizzas to help feed frontline workers and unemployed New Yorkers. It grew from doing 4 pies a day to 16 pies a day, she said. Miriam then explained that there's a sentimental reason for her acts of kindness. In tough times, my mother always told me to do good for others, she began. My mother was one of the people who got COVID, and in 5 weeks she passed away. So inside of every box that goes out, I put a little message for my mom. Kelly began tearing up as Miriam opened up one of her pizza boxes, which had the note for mom written on the inside, alongside a love heart. A lot of people come not just for the pizza, but for my mom. I always say that every pie I make is not just a pizza, it's a beat of a heart, Miriam said. So I wish you, her mom, were here and you could enjoy it. For me, I want to pull together and fulfill this dream of opening a pizzeria in her honor. Wiping away tears, mom of 2 Kelly said, "It's just such a beautiful story, and what a way to honor her and really take her advice and help and honor others as well. A marvelous way to pivot during a really hard time." It's been an emotional week for Kelly, who teared up once again on Tuesday over a woman who is helping elderly people keep their homes amid the pandemic. The 38-year-old filed for divorce from her husband of 7 years in June, citing irreconcilable differences. The two have been embroiled in a nasty battle over custody of their 2 children, as well as spousal support. Kelly has described how horrible her divorce has been in interviews and on her show. She recently won primary custody of their 2 kids. Both the singer and her ex have been ordered to not talk in a derogatory manner about each other or the divorce proceedings in front of their kids. To add to the drama in her life, Brandon's father, Narvel Blackstock, and his company, Starstruck Management, claimed Kelly owed them $1.4 million from her earnings on The Voice. The vocalist refuted the allegation, countering that Brandon and his father were a fraudulent and subterfuge device to perform illegal services as managers, and accused them of defrauding her out of millions. The world witnessed a truly emotional moment when Kelly Clarkson, beloved singer and talk show host, broke down in tears during a recent episode of her talk show. The reason for her emotional reaction: a story that perfectly encapsulated the spirit of kindness and selflessness that emerged during the COVID-19 pandemic. The segment featured a big-hearted woman who, in the midst of a global crisis, dedicated herself to a cause that not only impacted her local community but also brought comfort and support to the frontline heroes who were working tirelessly to save lives, first responders. The woman, whose name quickly became known to viewers as the embodiment of hope and resilience, made it her mission to prepare pizzas for first responders during the height of the pandemic. These heroes, working in hospitals, fire stations, and emergency services, were facing unimaginable challenges, and the simple act of providing them with a meal became a powerful symbol of solidarity and care. For Kelly Clarkson, the story resonated deeply, tapping into the emotions of a year that tested the strength and endurance of every individual, family, and community. As Clarkson shared in the segment, she was overcome by emotion because of the incredible generosity and heart of this woman. She explained how, amidst the chaos and uncertainty of the pandemic, it was acts of kindness like these that reminded her of the good in the world. The story of the woman who cooked for first responders became more than just a heartwarming tale. It became a symbol of the resilience of the human spirit, demonstrating that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for compassion and selflessness. On Kelly Clarkson's show has since gone viral, with many viewers also becoming deeply moved by the woman's kindness. The story spread across social media, with thousands of people expressing admiration for her dedication to helping those on the front lines of the pandemic. The gesture of making pizza for first responders was not only a simple act of generosity, but it also served as a reminder of how small, everyday actions can have a massive impact in times of crisis. For Clarkson, the tears weren't just a reaction to the woman's actions, but also a reflection of the larger emotional weight that the pandemic carried for everyone. As the host of a show that thrives on positivity and uplifting stories, Kelly Clarkson has built a reputation for celebrating the best in humanity. However, even for her, the pandemic was a challenging and emotional time that left a lasting impact. The story of the woman making pizzas for first responders brought back those emotions in a way that was raw and authentic, reflecting just how deeply this crisis affected all of us. In the weeks following the episode, viewers continued to reach out, sharing their thoughts on the emotional segment and expressing how it touched them personally. Many shared their own stories of kindness and generosity during the pandemic, creating a sense of connection and unity that spanned across social media platforms. It was clear that Kelly Clarkson's emotional response had sparked something powerful in people's hearts, and the story of the woman who made pizzas for first responders had become a beacon of hope and compassion for all. As the world slowly began to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, this particular story stood as a reminder of the unsung heroes, both on the front lines and within the communities, who made extraordinary efforts to support each other. It highlighted the importance of finding small ways to make a difference, even when everything around us seems uncertain and chaotic. The simple act of providing a meal, a moment of respite, for those who were risking their lives to protect others, spoke volumes about the power of kindness in moments for first responders did so not for recognition or fame, but out of a deep sense of gratitude and respect for those who were working tirelessly to help others. Her efforts were a direct response to the overwhelming strain that first responders faced on a daily basis, dealing with the crisis while also trying to keep their own families and communities safe. For them, a hot meal and a small token of appreciation meant the world. It was a gesture that spoke directly to the heart of what it means to be a hero, not through grandiose acts, but through the simple, meaningful things that make life a little easier for others. Kelly Clarkson's emotional reaction, the power of empathy. Kelly Clarkson is known for her ability to connect with her audience in deeply personal ways. As a singer, she has built a career on her emotional performances and her authentic, down-to-earth persona. As a talk show host, she continues to show the world her genuine empathy and kindness. The moment when Clarkson broke down in tears over the pizza-making woman is a perfect example of why she is so beloved by her fans. During the segment, Clarkson explained that hearing the story of the woman's generosity touched her in a way that was hard to describe. She said that in a time when so many people were suffering and struggling, this woman's actions were a reminder of the small ways that we can all contribute to making the world a better place. Clarkson's emotional reaction was not only about the kindness shown by this woman, but also about the sense of collective humanity that emerged during the pandemic. Empathy is a cornerstone of Kelly Clarkson's personality and approach to her show. She often brings on guests who share uplifting and inspiring stories, always creating a space for people to connect and share their experiences. The tears she shed during this particular segment spoke volumes about the emotional impact of the pandemic on everyone, even those who have a platform to uplift others. The empathy that Clarkson showed during this segment was not just a personal reaction. It reflected the sentiments of millions of people who felt similarly moved by acts of kindness during the pandemic. Across the world, people were coming together in small, meaningful ways, whether it was through making meals for healthcare workers, supporting local businesses, or simply checking in on friends and neighbors. These acts of kindness were a reminder that, even in the most challenging times, there is always an opportunity to show compassion. The woman behind the pizza, a story of gratitude. The woman who made pizzas for first responders during the pandemic became a symbol of the community's resilience and spirit. Though she may not have sought recognition for her actions, her story resonated deeply with many. She was someone who saw a need, saw the people who were putting their lives on the line to help others, and decided to step in with a simple, heartfelt gesture. In a time when uncertainty and fear ran rampant, her act of kindness provided a moment of relief for those who needed it the most. Her story serves as an example of how one person can make a significant impact. It highlights the power of community and the difference that small acts of kindness can make in times of crisis. The woman's decision to make pizzas wasn't just about feeding first responders. It was about providing them with a sense of normalcy and comfort during an incredibly difficult time. In a world that often focuses on grand gestures, her story reminds us that sometimes the simplest acts can be the most powerful. The ripple effect of kindness. The impact of this woman's actions reached far beyond the local community in which she lived. As news of her efforts spread, people from all over the world began to share her story and replicate her example in their own communities. The act of making pizzas for first responders became a symbol of hope, reminding people that kindness and compassion are always within reach, even when the world feels overwhelming.